I don't think it should be a bit of a surprise to anybody why we are discussing this issue. Though personally, for me, I have a bias towards not always discussing Yuletide when it comes to the period of non-Muslims, their celebrations. I like to give this sense of not being concerned, basically, because actually we're not supposed to be concerned. But the concern I mean is that we're not supposed to be concerned with celebration is that it's not for us. It's not our celebration. So, but then it is what it is. So, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, فَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, that gives reminder, O Muhammad, remind them. But verily the reminder benefits the believers. So it may be that there are some things that we have in our hearts that we don't really understand about our attitude or the approach we should have towards the celebrations. And by the celebrations, we can say bluntly, it's Christmas. So Christmas, New Year, then we can add to that the Easter and every other non-Muslim, non-Islamic celebrations. So baseline is that yes, we live in a multi-religious society. We have non-Muslims as neighbors, as friends. Islam has come to preach monotheism, and also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recognizes other religions, especially the people of the book, Christians and Jews. Allah also recognizes the mushrikun. Recognition is not affirmation. It's not a validation. It's just recognition of the facts. So Islam has taken into account the fact that we're going to be living with people of diverse beliefs, people who have a separate theology, people who have a different worldview, people who have a separate, different approach to life. Which is why the Quran and the explanation of the Prophet Muhammad have broadly taught us how to relate with the non-Muslims. So part of it is to be tolerant. Tolerance from a position of understanding and mutual respect, not to water down your own religion because you want to accommodate others, which is sometimes what we see in, let's say, let me limit it to southwestern Nigeria. So yes, we should tolerate others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that it is not for you to fight, to be aggressive towards those who are not aggressive to you, the non-believers. Those who didn't fight you, they are not causing you any harm in your religion. They are not trying to take you, chase you out of your homes. And Allah says, Allah has not forbidden you, Allah has not forbidden you from doing good towards them and to be just to them. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I went off for a minute. So we're talking about the attitude we should have towards non-Muslims generally, which is one of tolerance. We should tolerate their beliefs. We do not insult their icons of worship, their idols, their objects of worship. We don't insult their theology, their belief systems, though we may question it. I was talking about dawah, that may even be considered as compulsory upon us, all of us, in our capacities, different capacities, to actually engage, the non-believers in beneficial conversations to fulfill the instruction of Prophet Muhammad that said, "Balighu anni walau ayah," that convey from me, even if it is one ayah. So, and discussions does not have to always be confrontational. Doesn't have to be hostile. It could be a decent, respectful conversation. So, with your colleague at the workplace, all of this. So, being tolerant doesn't mean shutting up about your beliefs. You should also sell your own beliefs. You should push it. Of course, you seek audience. If they grant you an audience, then you discuss with them. So that's number one. It is not part of being tolerant that you water down your own religion, your own identity to accommodate others. In that case, that's no more tolerance. That would be a lot of problems. Part of them is going to be an inferiority complex. Another one will be an ignorance about your own religion. Bigger problem will be that you don't even believe in what you claim to believe in. That's why you water down for some people's validation. So Islam has prescribed that we be kind to them. We should be just with them, the non-hostile ones that are non-Muslims, especially if they are neighbors, because we're supposed to be good to a non-Muslim generally, but if he is my neighbor, he has more rights, because the rights of the neighbors, that discussion. It's a long list of the rights your neighbors have over you. So there are no ifs and buts when it comes to Christians or Jews or other followers of other faiths. So if they are family, the right goes higher, and you just have to be just and like that. But you draw the line. The red line is when it comes to religious issues. There are ahadiths, there are ayats that mention this lakum dinukum waliyadin. To you is your religion, and to me is mine. I can't become a Christian because I want to please a Christian. I can't stop being a Muslim, or I can't be less of a Muslim because some people say that is, the standard they want. So as Muslims, our focus is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does Allah require from us? What is the standard? The standard, yani, when you want to describe a good Muslim, you describe a good Muslim by the standard set by Allah and His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So someone won't come to you and say, a Christian, and say, I like your own Islam. It's very moderate. It's very moderate, and I really appreciate your Islam. Like, I've seen other Muslims, but I don't really like theirs. But yours is very from what was the some of you get happy when a non-Muslim praises your Islam. Yeah, you should be happy if the non-Muslim is coming from an Islamic perspective and they're actually weighing and measuring your compliance to Islam based on Islamic standards. But if it's just because you are lax and loose and you do not comply with Islam, and so they feel you are closer to them, that's a problem. You should cry over for 40 days. So there's a red line. That red line is lakum dinukum waliyadin. So that's settled. So when we deal with Muslims, non-Muslims rather, we maintain justice, good character, good behavior. We give dawah to. It's part of things we should do to them. And also we just draw that red line. When it comes to festivities, which is the crux of our discussion today, there are many things we celebrate. Celebrations are of different types. So I gave birth last night, for example. In some 7 days, 8 days, 7 days actually, I would be doing akiko. The akiko is just for me to slaughter the prescribed animal for the child, shave off the hair, give the child a name, some of which could be done before that 7th day, like naming the child. That's akiko. But the animal I slaughter, I'm not supposed to just consume it only. Can share with other people. So, but then we celebrate it because it's a thing of joy. We bring people around, Ma'aduba, let's eat, let's feast, walima. No problem. It's a celebration. There are celebrations that are like that are not time bound. There are circumstantial. Something has happened, and then we want to thank Allah by celebrating it, like the wedding, like the naming ceremony, like the graduation. All of these things are circumstantial. It's not like an annual stuff. It's not a recurrent event that we've marked a particular date for it. So those ones are generally mubah. It is what you do, what you're celebrating one, and what you do during the celebration that determines whether that thing is halal and haram. So for somebody who celebrates the coming of a new child and follows Islamic principles, no music, no alcohol, then we'll say that walima or that akiko he has done is halal. It's a good one. Probably you won't get reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for doing it, for feeding people and giving them something to drink. But when you bring music and you share alcohol, then it becomes, haram. So that being said, the other ones are the ones that are like annual celebrations, the one we call Eid, the Annahu Yarudu, that it goes and comes. It goes and comes. We fixed a date for it. December, is it 31st or 25th? I've forgotten when Christmas is. It's Christmas. January 1st is New Year. So date is this, so date is that. Eid al-Fitr comes 1st of Shawwal. Eid al-Adha comes the 10th of the Hijjah. Those celebrations or festivals that are marked by date are restricted in the Sharia such that we need to have a backing, a footing from the Quran and the Sunnah before we can move forward to pick a date that will be annual and be celebrating it on an annual basis. Prophet Muhammad was reported to have met the people of Medina celebrating some festivals when he got there. And he asked them, what is this celebration you guys are having? And they said, it's just some days we decided to keep ourselves to rest and play with it during those days. And he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has replaced those days for you with these two Eids, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. So though there's a lot of technical discussions under the concept of Eid, but for you, it's simply anything you want to call Eid, and by definition of Eid is something that recurs annually. You put out a particular date for it, that this day is for this celebration. It has to have sourcing. It has to have a source, which is from the Quran or the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. And that's why Muslims do not celebrate anything beyond on an annual basis beyond Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. So this is one of the evidences we use against Maulid Nabi. Apart from Maulid Nabi is wrong on so many grounds, from so many angles, it's just wrong. But one of the angles it's wrong from is the fact that we've specified a particular date, which Prophet Muhammad did not approve, neither is it approved directly in the Quran. Similarly, Hijrah celebration, when you want to take the first of Muharram or some days that are an annual event, all of these things will be categorically wrong because of this premise we relate for ourselves. So if we are talking about Eid from a Muslim perspective, that even not everything is to be celebrated, even if you call it Islam. How much more when it comes to the celebration of the non-Muslims? So by default, Christmas, New Year, Easter, Valentine, whatever you can think of, that's an annual celebration, does not concern a Muslim. And a Muslim does not participate in them. You should find enough celebrations in Islam. You should suffice with Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. We were not born to just celebrate every single day of our lives. So you can't, Yoruba land, you see that we celebrate everything. We are happy people. When it comes to Easter, we are there. When it comes to Eid al-Fitr, we are also there. Maulud Nabi, we are there. Christmas, we are there. This is a wrong way of living. It's a very bad and destructive. It can end up destroying somebody. So we don't just celebrate everything. So when it comes to events that are time and place bound festivals, especially of non-Islamic origins, and they are religious in nature, then these are prohibited in Islam. So December is here, Christmas is coming. Like I said earlier, it's not supposed to concern us as Muslims. But the Lil Asaf, unfortunately, somewhere right now, one Alaji is buying Christmas lights to his house. There are some Muslim families that are setting up Christmas decorations in their house, in their homes, unfortunately. So this makes it more important for scholars and little students like myself to remind people and to remind them what they're supposed to stand for as Muslims. So I'm Alaji Batuara Christmas lights. When an Alaji is buying Christmas lights, this is not even something hypothetical. It's something I've experienced firsthand. I've been to Muslim homes where by now there will be like Christmas lights in their house. You pass by a person's house, a Muslim, and you hear this tana, 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 and you'll be wondering, how did this person get it wrong? You're a Muslim, for crying out loud. You are even more prepared for a Christian festival than the Christians themselves. This is the sad reality we are living in. So Christmas that does not even have a backing in Christian sources. Like Christmas is alien to Christianity. Like if you check the entire Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, you will not find a backing for Christmas in their Bible. So something that we can't even prove is actually Christian in origin. We Muslims are now adopting it on behalf of the Christians who ought to even live it. Like in recent years, you find even pastors coming out to say that Christmas is entirely from a pagan origin, and it has no backing from their own Bible. So we have Christian churches, Jehovah's Witness. I think I've read from Pastor Kumuyi of is it Deeper Life, and some other places that they are even, they are saying that Christmas is alien to Christianity. But unfortunately, whether we call it inferiority complex, laxity, ignorance about one's religion, we have many Muslims, some girls are, some female Muslim young Muslim ladies are like, saving up money to make attachment for that party. If you walk on the island, for example, if you count those who are going to sell fireworks, maybe half of them are Muslims. Those will be selling fireworks for Christmas, and a lot of very sad things like that. So Christmas does not even have a backing in the Bible. Jehovah's Witnesses do not celebrate. Even mainstream Christian churches are saying it is pagan in origin, and then now we want to be the ones to help them celebrate it. So it is wrong. A Muslim must not celebrate Christmas. Neither should he celebrate New Year. Kelly, one thing about celebrations that we do not understand is that when you celebrate too much, when there's too much to celebrate, celebrations lose their essence. It loses the essence. Look at the way Islam has structured celebration for us. Look at Eid al-Fitr, for example. You spend some 29, 30 days fasting, and then at the end of that rigor, worshiping Allah, waking up in the middle of the night, reciting the Quran, doing all of that work, at the end, the entire Muslim community comes together to celebrate. What is celebration? You actually did something. Look at the Adha. Go to Hajj under the scorching sun of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Safa and Marwa. You go to Mount Arafah. You stay in Muna for days. Muzdalifah. You go and stone at the Jamrah. You do all of that. Those of us at home, we know that the first 10 days of the Hijjah are one of the best 10 days to do any act of worship. So we are fasting. We are increasing our acts of worship. People are staying in the masajid more, giving sadaqat. On the 9th, on the 9th, which is the day of Arafah, we are fasting at home. Those of us that didn't go to Hajj. It's all worship, hard work, and at the end, we celebrate. When you now bring celebrations for doing absolutely nothing, celebrations lose their essence. It's supposed to be something you reward yourself with. Celebration, like I've done so much work, let me relax. Let me take this, let me celebrate this, let me give thanks to Allah for this achievement. You went to school for 4 years, you're graduating, fine, that's good. Celebration. After suffering years as a bachelor, you later got married, walima to nikah, celebration. You ask Allah for a child, Allah granted you a child, you're thanking Allah for the celebration. So, but then the way the modern world is moving, we are leaning towards just celebrating for no reason. So take birthdays, for example. Just merely the fact that you're existing, you're celebrating it. What happened yesterday that made today, your birthday, quote unquote, important? So like that. So when we now bring that into everything we do, Eid al-Fitr, we celebrated it fine, good. Eid al-Adha, we celebrated it fine, good. Then we innovate Maulid Nabi, Hijrah celebration. I was celebrating every single thing. Then you see that even when you do Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, it loses its essence. You go out on Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, you spend all your money on everything. Doing your own birthday, your wife's birthday, your mother's birthday, your firstborn's birthday. So Eid al-Fitr is just go to the mosque with jalabia, the one you bought at Tom Jones, 5 minutes, and then we just come home, eat jollof rice we ordered somewhere, we just sleep. No celebration, no, the essence has been lost. So that's even on the general scale. So when it comes to non-Muslim celebrations, it's even a no-no. We should not even participate in that one. We do not celebrate Christmas because Christmas has even a heavier problem. Christmas hits directly, bullseye, at the center of the Islamic belief system. As a Muslim, you claim that you believe that Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid, walam yulad, walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. That's what you say. That say, oh Muhammad, Allah is one. Allahu samad. He is self-sustaining. Everything needs him, but he needs no one. Lam yalid walam yulad. Allah does not beget, nor was he begotten. Yani, Allah does not procreate, he does not give birth. Nor was he giving birth to. This is what you said. Probably you said it today too. How then are you comfortable with celebrating the birthday of God or God's son? Christmas and a Muslim should be far apart. So if you claim to believe that there is only one God and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no sons or daughters, and somebody pops up and say, I believe he has a son, and as a matter of fact, today is his birthday, and you say, oh wow, what a nice celebration. How are you able to even celebrate as a Muslim? So Christmas is even worse. Yes, is way worse than Valentine. Valentine is bad, but Christmas is worse. And the Muslim does not go for what is bad or worse. Goes for what is good, better, or best. So we should avoid it. Christmas is not for us. It's none of our business. Color red, the Christmas songs, the clothing, you should avoid it. It's not even supposed to be difficult to even say this to a non-Muslim. You know, the bulk of Christians in Nigeria, I don't want to say, let me say Lagos. The bulk of Christians in Lagos are not actually Christians, they are just liberals. Because 75% of them, I don't have any strong statistics, but like let's say 75% of them do not actually know what their belief systems are. They're just there. So they believe that it's a festival for everybody. Let's just do it together. But I don't think it should be difficult for a Muslim to say, this is why I cannot, I will never celebrate Christmas. It's simple logic. I say that Allah, God, has no children. You are saying he has a son. Now you are celebrating the day that son was born. Shouldn't be a problem when I say I'm not going to celebrate it. I don't think anybody should have the slightest problem with this. But like we say again, Muslims are not confident in their beliefs, or they do not know what they're supposed to believe in. So Muslims do not celebrate Christmas because it is a claim to the celebration of the birth of God, or Son of God, or God's Son. And this strikes at the very central doctrinal aspect of Islam. So we can respectfully explain to them that we do not celebrate this, and we can explain to them why we do not celebrate it. It's actually an opportunity to sell the message of Islam, because Christians also claim to be monotheists. Christians claim to be monotheists, that they believe in one God. Though the Trinity is a bit of a hassle for them, because they have to now explain how that three is not actually three, it's three fused into one. But with discussions like this, when you when you express and you are clear on what you believe, it's the perfect opportunity for them to ask questions about what you believe. And it's perfect opportunity for you to sell your belief to them. And how lucky you would be if you are able to bring somebody into Islam. If somebody becomes a Muslim through you and then does all of the acts of worship you're supposed to do and ends up in Jannah because of you, of course, you have a commission for every single thing that person does as a Muslim. So it's a good deal. You should try as much as possible to explain to them why you do not celebrate Christmas and turn that discussion into an avenue to sell Islam to them. Now, okay, we have agreed that we are not going to celebrate with them. No Christmas light, no greetings. Yes, Merry Christmas, not for me. It says Merry Christmas because some of them actually. Let me just say this: I think some of them are extremists, and they go beyond their bounds. Why would you greet me with Merry Christmas? Do I look like one of your people? So I mean, normal Kojala, we know that, but the Muslim must be the one who is more mature and more knowledgeable. So when somebody says Merry Christmas to you, it's none of your business. So you just reply them that no, I do not celebrate Christmas. Don't be scared. A Muslim should not be scared of being Muslim. Alhamdulillah, this is Nigeria. It's not like something will happen to you if you express your beliefs. You know, there's LGBTQ people expressing their beliefs blatantly, saying everything they believe. If you go on Facebook, if you go to some corners of Facebook, you see criminals amongst the idol worshippers blatantly, exhibiting their rituals, explaining their beliefs, and even marketing it. So I don't think there should be any reason for a Muslim to be shy in expressing his or her belief to others. So now we've agreed we are not celebrating with them. We're not going to greet them. If they greet us, we'll respectfully explain to them why that greeting is not for us and all of that. What about the gifts and food items given to us? So our neighbors are Christians, for example, and they've brought jollof rice and then chicken, sent drinks, sent cake, they sent whatever they sent. So this matter is just like this December comes every year. This discussion comes up in the Dawa space every single year. So their opinions, they are varying opinions, all of which have sources from the Quran and the Sunnah. It's not just like one Afa who just has a bad intention or wants to corrupt Islam. It's just saying what no. These three opinions actually have they are actually legal opinions from the Quran and the Sunnah, and they are valid opinions. So the first opinion is that we reject their food when they bring it to us for Christmas celebration or any religious celebration of theirs. And the reason is this: going by the logic and the explanation we put forth initially about the fact that they are celebrating the birthday of God's son. And we said this is one major reason why we should not celebrate with them. It's not part of celebration to eat that food. And as a matter of fact, how were you able to swallow the food of God's son's birthday? That's the logic. Allah has no son. Because if you read the Quran, it's not just Allah saying, I do not have a son. Allah actually mentions in various verses how grave that claim is. Takadu samawati yatafattarna min fawqihim. Allah says the heavens almost when for that claim they make that Allah has a son, the heavens almost tore apart. And the earth almost opened. And the mountains almost went, they were almost turned to dust out of the gravity of that statement. Surah Al-Kahf, Allah says, Kaburat kalimatan takhruj min afwahihim. They said Allah has taken for himself a son. Allah now describes the weight of that statement. Kaburat kalimatan takhruj min afwahihim. What a mighty statement that is coming from their own mouth. And they're not saying anything except something that is false. So it's a big deal. It's a big issue. So a Muslim is not supposed to be pleased with that kind of food. That'd be the issue. Even the water that comes from such a celebration. So these scholars mentioned that it should be rejected because the celebration hits directly and contradicts our core belief. And as such, we should not celebrate with them, we should not greet them, and we should not even eat the food or whatever gifts they bring for that same celebration. This is one opinion. The second opinion is that it can be accepted. The food they bring should be accepted. The drink they bring should be accepted. Whatever other gifts they bring may be accepted. The logic is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has generally permitted us to eat from their food. By their food, there is the Christians and the Jews, Ahlul Kitab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made their food and their meat permissible for us to eat, generally speaking. So the scholars who hold this opinion mention that the general rule still remains, because when Allah was making that rule, He knew, of course, that they were going to do other things like their festivals or whatever, but He said their food is not permissible to be consumed. And another evidence this group of scholars have is also the report of probably Abdullah bin Mas'ud and Aisha anha, or Abdullah bin Umar, from the Sahaba anyways, that they used to accept the food from the festivals of the Jews. The Jews used to have a New Year festival, their own New Year at that time, and they used to bring fruits to this Sahaba, and they accepted it. So they use this athar as a supporting evidence for the initial evidence I mentioned for this group. So they said there's nothing wrong in accepting their food, because their food initially is permissible for us to consume. And this is their own opinion. Then the third opinion is the opinion that we may eat their food, we may take from their drinks and any other gifts, but we must avoid the meat, because the meat was slaughtered for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That this meat, they slaughtered the chicken, or I think in recent times, people have started buying cow for Christmas. Like a bunch of families will come together and slaughter one cow because of economic situation. So the cow, the chicken, the ram, whatever it is they slaughtered, the turkey, was slaughtered for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for that reason, it should not be eaten. The meat only should be taken out, and we should eat. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we could eat their meat, He didn't say that when you know clearly that they're slaughtering this particular animal for a particular being, directly saying this is it, that they're slaughtering for Jesus's birthday. These people will say this is not permissible, even though Allah generally permitted their food. So these are the three opinions I have. For me, I go with the first opinion for the benefits inherent in them. Because if I were in a different society, probably I will go with the second opinion. My reason for going with the first opinion is that most Muslims do not consume that food out of the fact that Allah permitted their food for us, and I'm only eating their food that they gave to me. They are consuming that food out of celebration. And we still have that huge problem of Muslims not being able to identify themselves as Muslims and stand by that identity. So giving them this blank check that you can eat, it doesn't solve any problem. People just keep, celebrating, because people who eat mostly here don't just stay by the eating. They do every single thing we have said is even categorically haram. Allah Ta'ala alam. Sheikh Kabir Al-Asfar, his own opinion is the second opinion. He feels that opinion, that's the one he's most comfortable with, because this is opinion that, yes, has a source from the Quran, and is one that has a backing by scholars as early as the Salaf. So, if you go with any of these opinions, biiznillah, and you're convinced with the opinion that this is the right opinion, then you should be safe. So if you find somebody accepting the food here on the day of Christmas, it is not enough for you can't say the person has done something wrong. But when you see somebody celebrating Christmas, maybe by virtue of taking the food he's celebrating, we can caution that person. And Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. So these three opinions have been expressed by scholars. I've said my own for now, as it is currently, and for the past few years. I still believe that a Muslim should train himself to reject, because most times we do not. The reason we are not rejecting is not because we believe in any opinion. Some of you are hearing these opinions for the first time, but you've been accepting because you are so timid to say no. You are so shy of your own belief to even explain to them why you are not celebrating Christmas. So you should break that ice and start that conversation. Let people know what you stand from, and it doesn't have to be confrontational. Conveying the truth does not have to be aggressive or confrontational. It should be respectful and, should be clear. Another issue that comes up during this time is the issue of the 13th month salary. So this one has nothing to do with the celebration. So when they give you hampers, or they give you an extra payment for the year, you should accept it. Allah Ta'ala. So Allah said that should convey to you that in case you're not comfortable with it, you can send the money to him. He's going to use it for dawah. So again, the most important point is that tolerance is living peacefully with people who share different faiths from yours. It is not watering down your faith to accommodate others, or trying to play to the gallery, to pretend. When you're with your Christian friends, you don't pray. When you're with your Christian friends, you don't say Inshallah. You pick up your phone, your father says Salaam Alaikum, you say, Abba, Daddy. You can't say Walaikum Salam because you're with them. Well, what exactly are you doing? Would you be surprised if those non-Muslim friends of yours later become Muslims and then they break up from you because you're a chicken Muslim? You never told them about Islam. Because the peak of love, if I say I love my friends, I want good for them, is to teach them Islam. What's the use of love? That I know this person is going to end up in hellfire. You will love with the. So we should try as much as possible to always be vocal about our belief, about our religion. But before you can be vocal, before you can convey, you must at least first properly believe. So if you have doubts, you're not even sure whether you want to be a Muslim, probably you should invest in learning about this religion. It's a very beautiful religion. The laws are fair, actually the fairest you find anywhere on earth. The principles, they are the ones that match with human nature the most. So you should give time to learn about this religion so you can actually end up being proud of being a Muslim. Trying to force people to adopt religious practices they find at odds with their faith is not called tolerance, it's bigotry. So Labeli, if you have kids in school, please do not pay for Christmas carol. It's haram. Christmas carol is for those who celebrate Christmas. And do not let any teacher bamboozle you. It happens in public schools. The teacher will say every child should go and bring 500 naira, 1,000 naira for Christmas carol, and if they don't, they'll be caned. And you as a parent, you say, well, I want poor. You send the money. You didn't go there yourself to let them know that you're a Muslim and nothing concerns you with Christmas carol. So sometimes in Yoruba land, Muslims live as if they are strangers in their land. So you must be vocal about that nonsense. Nobody should impose. I've not heard of any Muslim school impose Islamic tenets or Islamic mode of dressing on Christian children. But even in neutral schools that are not even Christian schools, missionary schools, you will find Christian people in charge actively imposing Christian tenets and beliefs on Muslims. So we should fight those kind of things. Christmas carol is not for us. If you're in charge at your office, they want to package some things to give to every staff, all staff of the company as a 13-month benefit. Try to influence the decision. Let them pack the stuff in color blue, not color red. It's Christmas. So it's end of the year. People are going on a break. You want to give them thank you for your contributions to the company over the year. If you are somebody who is in charge, you can actually influence it. Let them start using green or blue to package. If you don't want red, why red? If they say I got red, ask them why red. Kilo one red. Because sometimes they smuggle their religion into things that are supposed to be neutral, and then it becomes a bit of a hassle for a Muslim to even want to take those things or participate in those things. So this is just the little I have for the discussion about Yuletide. If Allah wills, maybe we'll enter into more discussions through the questions if there are questions. هذا وصلى اللهم وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Questions? Okay. We'll take it as there's no question. If there are no questions, we'll call it a day till next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.